Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make a automated setup for generating mystical flowers from Botania. It's two steps to this setup. The first part is where we're going to generate mana, so to get the energy to make the flowers, and the second part will be actually creating them with the special Jaded Amaranthis and picking it up with a set of tools from a couple of other mods. These mods include Ender Storage, Steve's Factory Manager, Blue Power, and Random Things, along with Vanilla Minecraft. We probably don't need that part yet. Yeah. So, first thing we do is we get our open crate, our Steve's Factory Manager, and an iron chest. Now, for the setup that we're doing, we're using Endoflames. And what we're going to do is we're going to drop coal onto them, because when you drop coal onto the ground, the Endoflames suck it up and push mana into a mana pool using mana spreaders, a special kind of setup. All we do is we place down the open crate like that. You can place it at any height as long as it's just one block off the ground, so it can actually drop stuff. And then we'll place a factory machine inventory manager from Steve's Factory Manager on. And then we'll get it's a iron chest. Oh, I wanted to say the same thing again. It's pretty funny. And what we do is we break those blocks, and we go into the interface here for the Steve's Factory Manager, and we create a trigger, like so. And we set the interval to about 60 seconds. Now, I set it to 60 seconds because I'm using coal. Different burn times require different speeds, so burn time of coal is 1600. I think a block of coal coke is like 32,000 burn time for ticks, but it depends on your situation. You can test out the interval, but 60 seconds works for me, so that's what I'm going to use. And then what we do is we create an input like that, and I'll just shift move these over so it looks neat, and we chuck this thing on and connect it up, and then we get the input, which is from the iron chest. So you chuck the coal into the iron chest, and it doesn't matter which direction it is because it's not really it's just grabbing it from the chest in certain side. There's no sides that we have to configure. And then in the whitelist we look for coal like so, and left click on it, and then this is the part that you may have to change depending on how big you want to make your setup. What we want to do is set the drop rate. So this is where you will change how fast the mana will be generated. And our number that we will use is the number of endoflames that we're placing down in our setup. So we're going to set the drop rate to 5, because we're using 5 endoflames. And this will incur a certain kind of speed. But every time you add an extra endoflame, you have to change this number that is located here. So you right click on this piece of coal, and you change that number. And then once you've done that, you can set an output. And from my experience, I don't think we need to do much with this, because it's just telling us where to drop everything. And then that will work like that. And that should be it. Oh no, I have to set the inventory. Yep, I've done that. Check that. And that should be fine. And that's pretty much it for this part of the setup. So all we have to do is get the endoflames, like that. And then our mana generation is done. So we'll just chuck all this coal in here, and we'll let that charge up and drop, and then it should just power up this mana spreader, which will go to this mana pool. And yeah, so that's that part of the setup. I'm just going to go and grab something from my A area. I think it's the Wand of the Forest. So that'll just drop coal on there, and then I'll power up the mana spreader, which will push that mana into that mana pool, and then you can go and push it up here. There's also this special flower I've got as well, called the Solagnolia. It stops magnetization rings from actually working in a certain area radius. So I've got this ring of magnetization, and I've got this set up to stop the coal that's being dropped here from being sucked up into your inventory, because you want these things running all the time. You don't want energy to be wasted or stopped or paralyzed, for that matter. So yeah, that just dropped coal there, and these guys are gone, and they'll go for about a minute, and then this thing will drop again. Yeah, that's that part. Once you've got that mana generation up, you can do different kinds of mana generation, but the next thing you want to do is you want to set up your farm for your mana flowers, or your mystical flowers. And to do this, you get a mana spreader, place it down on your main energy area, or main mana pool, and then you get that, and you break a block here. Well, it doesn't really matter where it goes, but I'm just doing this for importance. I think I might need another mana spreader. Actually, might steal one of these ones, because these guys aren't being used much. So I'll place one here, and then one here. That guy's going there. Pretty sure he's fine. And then we'll get the Wander of the Forest and aim this at the other one, like so. And he's charging up. And this guy's charging up. And then we'll get our Jaded Amaranthis. And some more dirt. Should be pretty fine. I'll place this Jaded Amaranthis in a 7x7 area. You'll also notice I've covered off the sides. The Jaded Amaranthis has a generation spawn area of radius of 4, but we cut off the sides simply to make it neater and smaller and efficiently work faster, so we're not having to wait around too long for mana gen. We can increase this, but for now we'll just leave it like so. Yeah, so we place the Jaded Amaranthis directly in the middle of the 7x7 area, and then we get the, I think it's the mana pool, and we'll chuck this, we'll just chuck this here, like so. I'll put this here, like that, and hopefully the Jaded Amaranthis. No. Wait, we have to place this closer. Whoops, my mistake. Hang on. Let's see. Hopefully this is... Yep, there we go. So once you place that mana pool down and you start feeding it mana, and then you shift right click on the Jaded Amaranthis and then right click on the mana pool, tells this Jaded Amaranthis to suck up mana from here, and it starts placing down flowers. Now, that's the first, or probably second step. Gone through a couple of steps now. The second step, or the third step, or whichever step you reckon it is to get your Drum of the Wild, which is a very simple crafting recipe. Just Horn of the Wild and then a pasture seed, which is made like so when you drop a piece of grass into a mana pool. And then once you have that, you can actually get a redstone mana spreader, and I'll use up a lot of stuff straight away, and tell it to turn on and suck up and break mystical Botania flowers on a time signal. So I'll place down this timer here beside it. And we'll set it to about... Oh, that was strange. Yeah, we'll set the mana spreader here, and then place the Drum of the Wild here. And then the timer right beside this guy. And this timer will activate the redstone mana spreader, which will in turn activate the Drum of the Wild every 30 seconds. And once it does that, all we have to do is place down an ender chest or any kind of chest and suck up the flowers back into your storage system. And we'll just increase the radius on here because we need to pick up all of those flowers. So yeah, that's about it for this part of the episode. It works pretty well. Hang on, I'll just chuck these in and test it. And we might actually increase this to... Hang on, I'll just take my magnetization ring off. Might increase this to 1 minute. I'll just see what happens. Any time now. There we go. So it's sucking up all those flowers into the system now, which is really cool. Because now we've got an unlimited supply of petals, which we can use for a lot of crafting in our Botania setup. Yeah, that's probably about it. Oh, one more thing. There's a special thing that I always forget to do, and it's kind of important. But for this setup it's not important. But what you want to do with your setups, if you press for resources, is you want to set up a comparator on your main mana pool. So if you've got a main mana pool energy source, make sure you set one. Always have a main pool that you can control your energy output from. And to do that, all you need to do is get a redstone comparator. You can have it from normal vanilla Minecraft. There's also other ones from other mods. But what you want to do is make it so this comparator links up with your energy supply. So our energy supply is your coal and the machine inventory manager. So yeah, we can link it up. But I'm not going to show you this episode because we need an unlimited supply of energy right now, the way we've set it up. But in another episode, I think I might use the Narcissus flowers. I can't remember exactly what they're called, but they feed off, I think it's steak and any kind of food. And they need to be controlled pretty well. But for now, that's all. Thank you for watching the tutorial, and I hope you do very well with your Botania setup once you've got this startup going. Yeah, but I'll see you soon. Bye. Okay, so I noticed the recording I just did only went for 40 minutes, so I'm going to do some more. Push myself a little bit this week, and we're going to automate the production of Endoflames. So the guys that I've had here, I've had to do manually, but I want more mana. Not too much more, but I want to be able to generate it quickly because I want on-tap resources when I'm crafting stuff. There's a lot of stuff I use it for. One example is for crafting Horns of the Wild. Horns of the Canopy, so I can actually get rid of a lot of... Sorry, that's really loud. So so I can actually get rid of a lot of leaves with my tree farm, because I don't want my harvesters just harvesting leaves, because you don't get much from leaves, saplings, but it does increase its speed, power generation, henceforth. Yeah, so anyways, I'll get on with it now. So it's going to be like the last episode to a degree with automation, but this time it's for a magic mod, which is pretty neat. So there's a couple of things we'll have to set up first. We'll just grab all of these. I think there's a pattern terminal I have to grab as well. Yeah, here we go, one that I crafted in my main AE system, and a tesseract. Probably a cable as well. All of these drives, and we'll just hold on to that, probably put that behind as well. But what we'll do is we'll get this, and you can see that I've got a hole here already. And we get that, and I'll push this down here. I'll put this tesseract on top, and then we'll make a little incision here like this. Now this is not a very neat and tidy setup. This is very simple. All we're doing is we're just placing down the main components. I might need some more cable. Let's see. So what this setup's going to do is it's going to get these open crates over here, and it's going to manage them in a certain way. And the way we do this is we get this AE system that I'm setting up now to call on resources to drop them into the open crates. And once it does that, then all we have to do is pick them up with item collectors, and the rest is history. If that's a funny thing you want to think of. I know, just trying to burn time here while I make this. So we'll just chuck these ME drives in here, like so. Oh no! Oh no! We lost connection. It'll jump back in a moment. I'll just keep on rolling. Yeah, sometimes this happens. There we go. It's back in now. But yeah, now we're using 2 ender chest setups. Well, actually 3. One's for crafting through the apothecary, and one's for dropping stuff into the mana pool. And the last ender chest is used for picking up the items. So I've got these item collectors and all these. Actually, I might do those last. There's also another thing we have to do, and that is to get water buckets, because what we have to do is jump them into the apothecary. But I'll start from the molecular assembly part so we can get some of the other items down first. So we've got too many ME. We have 2 ME interfaces, if I can pronounce that properly anymore. We'll get this set up here, like so. And probably only need 1 for now, because it's not that important. Actually, I might just toss the other one on here. Yeah, because I don't want that in my inventory anymore. And then we'll chuck those in there. We'll give this a little acceleration upgrade. And we'll get onto the crafting some stuff. So we've got our blank patterns and our flowers. So we want to make 3 different flowers for each Endoflame. So I'll chuck this in here like this. Like that. I'll craft a mystical flower petal. Red one. And then a brown one. And then a light grey one. Now these are our basic crafting items. Most of them. So we'll just chuck them in there like that. And then we can call on them. So if we want 20 light greys... the crafting CPU. We'll have to craft one of those. Actually, I might just steal one from my other part of the base for time's sake. Yeah, here we go. Let's just take one. Doesn't even have to... Oh, we'll take the green one because it's Botania. But yeah, grab one of these crafting CPUs and chuck it onto the system as well. And you can chuck it on there like that, and it'll just be ready to go. So all we do is we go craft 20 of those, and we'll craft 20 of them. And you can see them actually crafting in here, which is really cool. And we'll craft 20 red ones, and then I'll make 20 red ones like that, and I'll do it really quickly. And then we'll do 20 brown ones like that. Now that's basic crafting petals. So we've basic petal production with this setup. So we've got all three of those. The next part is to get these red and brown mana petals. Now to do that, we need to drop mana petals into here. But what we need to do first is we need to grab these mystical red petals, and what was the other colour? Mystical brown petals, and put them in here. So we get one crafting recipe like that. Actually, I'll just leave it like that. And then we drop some red mana petals in here. So I'll just drop like one because we don't really need to start it up yet. And we've got the recipe. Now, I press this button to change it to a processing pattern because it has to go through a certain process that is not the molecular assembly chamber. Or it doesn't go through the molecular assembler. So we've got that crafting recipe. And then we do the exact same for the brown petal. So we get one like that. Then we chuck one in here like so. And hopefully we can pick it up. Huh, that's strange. Okay, so that's fixed. And then we just chuck it in, and you make sure you put it in this slot here, after you put the one that it's before there. So that mystical brown petal must turn into that brown matter. That mystical brown petal must turn into the mystical, the brown mana petal after it's been chucked in the mana pool, because it gathers up mana. Now, we've got those recipes, so we know how to tell it what to do, but we need it to do what it needs to do, and we need to tell it how to do it. And to do that, what we do is we get two of these ender chests, and we get an ME import bus, and we chuck that ME input bus on the ender here like so, because there's space there, and we get the, where is it? Yeah, this one is going to be what pulls the stuff into the ME system again once it's been crafted to that point. And then we'll get the other chest, so the ender chest here, and an ME interface. Actually, I think we have to craft some more. I'll just put 10 in. Well, what we do is we get this ender chest, the one that's going to actually push stuff from the system into the mana pool, and we chuck it on here like this because we want the petals. It's not important for the mana pool because it's just dropped in and picked up, but we want it to drop in an item hopper so it can actually pull it into the open crate. We use item hoppers. Hopper's the vanilla version because it's very simple and very quick to use. And then once we've got that, we place down the return chest for the ME system, and then we place a item collector with the programmed item filter. So I'll get the item filter, place it here, and I'll make sure we set it to, I can leave it at 2, it shouldn't affect the other one. Hopefully not. We can turn it down in case, just in case something goes wrong. Hang on, we'll take the other one out. What we do is we chuck in the mana petal. Oh, no, hang on. We get the mana petals that are real, not the ones that are just imaginary in the crafting pattern. and we chuck them in the item filter like this. Hang on, are these the right ones? Oh, you have to manually put them in. And then essentially this item filter will collect only those petals and nothing else once they've been created. Yeah, so once we've got that, we get our interfaces like this, and we get our sending chest. Now, I'm not putting signs here, but I do recommend you put signs just in case you get confused. So I'm probably going to put a sign here soon that says mana pool. And then once you get that, you get the ME interface and chuck it on there like that. And you chuck the brown mana petal and the red mana petal patterns for crafting them in there. And all you have to do is chuck them in there like that. And now you can craft them. So if we want 10 brown mana petals, it'll drop them in there like that. And this thing will pick them up. And I'll go back into the system, as you can see. Now it's only picking them up very slowly, but it is actually working. And we actually have to wait for it to pick all of them up so we can do the next crafting recipe. So we want 10 red mana petals, and it'll pick them up like that, which is really good. So that's that part. Now, it looks like we have everything, but we've got an apothecary, and it's a very interesting device to automate because there's two more parts that we need, and that is the water bucket and the seeds. The seeds are pretty easy. You know, you just start a farm up and you can start making them and automating them. But the water bucket, on the other hand, you do need to get a fluid transposer that's powered. Unfortunately, there are other ways to make water buckets, but I find this way the easiest. So I'll just get all the components for it. Well, not all of them, but most of them. And then we'll get a little setup going here. So I'll just place the resonant flux duct here. You can use any kind of conduit. Doesn't even have to be from that mod. Oh, and then you place the fluid transposer there, like so. And I just chuck these in because I like it running fast. And then what you do then is you get your water source. Now it can be this kind of water source or another kind. And you make sure it's on input on the top and input on the left or right. I think I'll put it like that. And then we get the rest of the stuff. So I'll just check I've got enough cable, which is good. So once that's done, all you have to do is call with the ME interface on one side of the transposer. And rinse and repeat on the other side. Oh no, not rinse and repeat. Import it back into the system on the other side. I'm sorry, didn't mean to say that. That's wrong, don't listen to what I just said before. And then once you got that, you just make a recipe. So, you know, like we've done before, we get a water bucket like that, and then we get an empty bucket like that. And we chuck it in the system like so, and then we call the pattern like that, and we can do that and chuck it in. So we can now craft water buckets, which is really excellent. So if we want 10 of them, then I'll just put 10 into the system. And I've noticed these import buses, they speed up after a while, but you can make them faster with acceleration upgrades. But we're not going to do that now because I think I don't have enough diamond yet, or I don't want to use it yet. Eventually I will. But for demonstration's sake, we won't do that. Okay, so we've got our water bucket, we've got our seed, we've got our petals and our mana petals. All we have to do now is combine them to make the Endoflame. And to do that, we have to make a crafting recipe that's highly specific. And when I say highly specific, I mean in a certain order. What I've noticed with the ME system is when you do a crafting recipe, there are 9 slots in a 3x3 grid, but it always calls a certain order to those slots. Now for this one, it does it in this order. It goes from the top like this, and then goes downwards. So the last thing that's called is always in the bottom left hand corner, and the first thing that's called is always in the top left hand corner. Now when you're crafting in an apothecary, I'll just show you as an example. It's pretty straightforward. Hang on, I'll just get all the petals. It's pretty straightforward. If you drop a water bucket in, it fills it up, and when you drop the other petals in, they drop into the water, and then when you drop a seed in at the end of the recipe, it finishes what's inside the apothecary, combines it all together and chucks it out. So what you want to do is you want to have the order right for your recipe in the terminal. Essentially what you want to do is have the water bucket always drop first, so we put it at the start, and then you want all of the ingredients except for the seed to go in the middle. So water bucket first, all of your ingredients, and then your seed. If you do it in any other order, sometimes, like for this server example, for example, we have clear lags, so if you're making a bunch of these flowers and clear lag hits, then it can actually stuff up your crafting process and actually drop a whole bunch of petals on after as well, and you come back and you're like, oh, why isn't this working? And you know, you probably get mad or you get confused. And then also the seed drops at the end because it makes it so when the crafting recipe completes, the next recipe doesn't drop through. It's kind of like you're chopping up each little process of crafting a flower. Now, with this, also, I'll just make the crafting recipe first, so we'll do it like this. We'll go water bucket, and then we'll go brown mana petal, or brown petal, mana petal, and then red petal, red mana petal, and then light grey mana petal, and then seed. And then we'll get an Endoflame, so just grab one of these, just because it's faster than actually dropping all the stuff in and crafting it. And then that's our recipe. So virtually this thing here, all we have to do now is get it called through the system. Now, yeah, so we've got the order and we've got the apothecary ready, but the next thing we want to do is we want to do a certain special thing with the interface. What we want to do is tell this thing to stop dropping in ingredients. Actually, it's not too important with this one. It's actually important with another one that I want to show you, but we want to make sure this thing isn't going too fast and dropping ingredients in at a ridiculous rate, because if you drop too many petals in, the apothecary forgets what it's trying to make and it can't make it. So for safety's sake, I know it may not be important for this one, we're going to switch this thing to blocking mode on this interface. And when you do that, it makes it, it's kind of like a fail-safe mechanism, but it also stops too many items and resources actually dropping into a hopper for its speed. Yeah. So did we get the crafting recipe for that? Yes, we did. Excellent. So what we do now is we get the ender chest for this setup, and please don't copy me. Make a sign, tell it that this is the apothecary and that's the mana pool. Yeah, almost forgot what I was saying there. So this one's the apothecary. We'll drop it on here, and then I'll just draw out the resources at a moderate speed. And it starts from left to right, not the other way, which is important. So I'll chuck all of these items in here, and we'll try and craft an Endoflame. Oh no, one more thing. Hold up. One more thing, we have to make sure we can collect this item as well, because it's pointless crafting it if you can't collect it and tell the system that you complete, or else it gets very, very confused. So all we do is we get the item filter again, like the mana pool, but instead for the apothecary, and we tell it to pick up endoflames. And this should work. This should be very fine, because it's only looking for endoflames, it's not looking for anything else, so it should pick up anything else. Which is good. Okay, so we've got our apothecary automated, our mana pool automated, our fluid transposer automated. Now let's craft some endoflames. Let's craft about 10 just to put it through its paces. So let's look through here, it's trying to craft that. And it's dropping the endoflames, which is awesome. And it goes pretty fast as well. Now you also notice here that the only problem it is having is with the buckets, and that's because they empty out and drop out of the apothecary when they fill it up. And all we have to do is add them to the recipe, but wait until this is actually finished. Yeah, so that looks like it's done. Add these to this item filter to pick it up in the item collector, and then that should be all good. Now, this setup can be used for a lot of different flowers. If you're really annoyed with long recipes, it's pretty good, but keep in mind that you don't need to go overboard. I know I've got like 5 here, you could easily go to 100 here. They're no flames, but it depends on the setup you've got going. If you want to run 100 endoflames all the time, it's not a great idea. You do have to put mechanisms in place, and I will show you that in another episode. But for now, all you have to worry about is all you have to not worry about is crafting those endoflames and any kind of other flower that you want to generate. So I thank you for watching this video. I hope you find it interesting and intuitive, and that you've learnt how to automate some Botania and maybe some insight into some other mods. Yeah, I'll end it here, and I'll see you soon. Peace.